Hello, cats and kittens. Odewa Jose Yoroshku. I'm back in the Crisis Corner with my impressions on One Piece Chapter 1174, The Strongest Thing in the World. We can go ahead and wave death flags for Killingham. He is toast. He's done. He's finished. His despicable acts in 1174, his perverse love of children being killed and along with their parents, throwing them, uh, wanting to throw them off a cliff, and basically seeing them as being expendable. He's done. He's not long for this story because somebody, probably Scapa Gaban, maybe Sanji. I don't know. Somebody's gonna cut him down. I think it would be Scapa or Sanji. Will get rid of him, and that'll be the end of that. But I don't think he's going to survive. If he isn't killed by a combatant in this battle, we've already seen that Emu has no problem with eliminating people that fail, and he has failed. He failed to get the kids on the ship. He was about to in this chapter. He's about to eliminate the kids and start with a fresh set of new kids and blame it basically on Emu himself. And that's not going to work because Emu don't take the blame for nothing. So he's going to probably get rid of Killingham if Killingham doesn't get killed by Scopper or Sanji or somebody on Elbaf. So that's how that's going down. But otherwise, it's a great chapter. It's full of heart. The parents not able to stop the kids from going over the edge of the cliff, essentially decide to join them in their demise, thinking, we're not going to let them kids die alone, which is beautiful. It's the strongest thing in the world is a bond of a parent and their child. And it's very cool how each child gets a remembrance of their parent and how they have the feeling that they're being punished for their sins or for their errors of not being good children, and they reflect on how they had, at one point or another, irritated or got their parents angry at them, and they're thinking, oh, this is because we were bad kids, but then their parents come and hug them, getting stabbed by the thorns that are part of Killingham's jutsu or whatever, however his devil's fruit works. So they're getting punctured and they're still holding on to their kids and basically going down with them, going over the edge of the cliff with them. And it's just beautiful. Of course, we know that they're rescued because Loki and Luffy just happened to be coming up as they were going down and they're rescued. Now, interestingly, when they're rescued on the back of Loki, it looks like I keep saying jutsu, but the devil's fruit ability is undone because I don't see the thorns on the children anymore. So that seems like it's reversed or undone. And so they're basically safe. And that sets up our reveal of Loki's evolved form or whatever you want to call that. He's huge. He's massive. I mean, he's just ridiculously big. And I just want to see how his abilities play out. How powerful is he actually? At this point, you got Luffy in his Nika form. You got Loki. Zoro's already on the scene with Sanji. Scopper's not really in it because he's wounded, he's injured, so he's not really tip-top shape. You have some interesting players on the board, but at the same time, the rest of the Straw Hats don't really seem like they're going to factor into this. Now, I say that because for the last 2 days, I've been binging old school One Piece, pre-time skip One Piece, I believe starting from Little Garden all the way up to currently I'm at Ennis Lobby. And Lucci's fighting, Luffy's fighting Lucci. That kind of makes me nostalgic for old school One Piece when the fights involve the crew extensively. The major fights were basically opportunities for the crew to level up. So Luffy shows off gear 1, gear 2, gear 3. We get a Sora form from Zoro. We get Diablo Jamba from uh, Sanji. Everybody showed out. We got Monster Point from Little Chopper. Frankie came out with some. So everybody, Frankie was just getting into the crew, but everybody showed out. Even Usopp. He got his moment to shine when he sniped Spanham from the Tower of Justice or whatever, making incredible sniper shots. Old school One Piece, the crew factored into the big battles. As of late, they really don't. I mean, in Wano, it was top heavy. Usopp didn't really have nothing to do. I mean, he did some stuff, but he didn't really shine. Chopper didn't do nothing. Nami didn't do nothing. Jinbei got a fight. He got a fight. Okay, he got a fight. He was impactful. But in this particular fight in Elbaf, I'm curious as to see how anybody other than Brooke, possibly Nico Robin, those two outside of the big four, really the big three, to be honest with you, because I don't see Jinbei having a very impactful fight either. There's not going to be a whole lot of opportunity for crew members to shine, and since we're getting to the end of the series, cats got to start stepping up. They got to start getting hockey. They got to start having new techniques. I think Brooke is going to show out with his, not necessarily going to take down Gunko or whatever, but he's going to show out to some degree. It'd be nice if Nico Robin took out Killingham. Taking out Killingham would be nice if they finally give her armament hockey and let her take somebody out hard. That'd be nice. But Usopp, I'm going through old school One Piece, and you go through Little Garden and he's meeting the giants, and he's talking about going to Elbaf and all of that. Now we got to Elbaf and he ain't did jack, and that's a problem. I mean, this should be. I'm not saying Elbaf is supposed to be his arc. It's Loki's arc, and Loki probably won't even end up on the crew. So, what happened? Oda's gonna have to pull one out of his hat on this one because Usopp has to shine. He has to do something remarkable. This is his thing. He got to Elbaf. He's with the Giants. He's been cheerleading and stuff like that, but he's not factored in. He hasn't done anything. So I'm curious as to see how that is going to resolve itself. But 1174 was a good setup. Stakes were set up. It had a lot of heart. And yeah, it's a good setup for what should be the beginning of some ferocious battles. I'm not sure how Oda is going to actually, do the matchups, but we're going to get a chapter this week, and we're probably going to get at least 2, maybe 3 weeks with a chapter. So I'm curious to see how that goes. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing what Loki can do. But I would really like to see the crew shine to some degree. But I'm not extremely hopeful that that's going to happen, especially on the lower levels. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you're looking forward to. Until then, stay loose.